Next, from cars to planes, Patrick pays a visit to the folks that keep them safe, the National Transportation and Safety Board.
We're here at the National Transportation Safety Board to learn about flight data recorders, the black boxes that are actually orange, and how the information gets from the box onto the screen so you can actually analyze it and figure out what happened when you have an event. Casey, thanks for taking the time to talk to us.
Hi, thank you.
So how long have planes been required to have flight data recorders on them?
They were required in 1961, 1962 to have recorders, and the first recorders on airplanes were the foil recorders. They only had 5 parameters were recorded, and they were scratched onto the actual foil. And then it got moved to solid state, the computer chips.
Is this another example of one of the boards? Or?
Yes, this is a newer example of a flight data recorder.
I noticed what almost looks like a SCSI jack. Is that where the information actually gets pulled out or transferred?
Yes.
Can we look at what the process looks like?
Sure, no problem.
Cool. So do they all pretty much have the same connector and software for the downloads? Or?
Now, each recorder has, from the manufacturer, has different cables for downloading the data, and they each have their own software. Plug it in, and we have the power on, and then we download the data.
What are we looking at here?
Well, when we get the download the flight data recorder, you have zeros and ones, and you need to turn that data into engineering units. And this is an example of a plot of data from an event. This is actual data off of the recorder, and this is a tape-based recorder. And this is a 1, and this would be a 0. And what you have down here is you have 1 second of data. The data starts with the sync code, a unique word. So this is word 1. And you have a full second. It starts here and it ends all the way down here.
So how many of these do you typically look at in a year?
In a year, my group can read out about 100 flight data recorders.
And that's not all accidents, is it?
No, there are events like maybe a turbulence encounter, a hard landing, an engine anomaly, and they're interested in what happened. Nobody got hurt.
How do you actually create a chart?
Yeah, typically we'll start with a blank plot, and then we will go up and bring up the parameter that we have inputted into the decoding file.
So next we can see actually what happens when you've rendered all this out and created a 3D model.
We can take the data from the flight data recorder, the engineering units, and make an animation.
Is this a 3D rendering of a captured set of data from a flight data recorder?
Yes.
Is that actually the pilot speaking up there?
Yeah, that's from the cockpit voice recorder. Legally, we can't have the audio from the cockpit voice recorder, but we can put the transcript that's been released to the public on an animation. So what you see here are the instruments, and this is all being run by the flight data recorder. And the way the aircraft moved is data from the flight data recorder. It's much easier to visualize what is happening, and you can take in so much more of the data when you have an animation.
So, National Transportation Safety Board, we've seen how to get the data off the flight recorder. Who knows what's coming up next?